Hello everyone. Bryce and I have decided to do the 5-question tag by Weebiedolls, and today I'm going to change Bryce out of his cute little onesie into another onesie, something very plain and simple. Just this plain socks in gray and white, his undershirt that just snaps on the side, and this cute little onesie by Cardis, Mommy's Best Friend. Very cute. And also my daughter lost my son, hey, yes, you're my son, lost Bryce our pacifier, so I had to customize this pacifier for Bryce, and all I did was use a little tape. I do have the glue, but just being so lazy, you know, one day I have to sit down and just glue the few pacifiers that I do have. And something else I was supposed to do, pacifiers, and oh, I did the bottles already. Yeah, I did close all the nipples in the bottle, so it's just the pacifiers for now. Yeah, so that's a cute little pacifier, has a little monkey. That's pretty cute. All right, so let's start with question number 1. How does your children, parents, close relatives feel about your reborn dolls? All right, so let me talk about my children first. I have 3 kids. My oldest is my daughter. She's 28 years old. She met Emma when I was visiting my family a few months ago. And my family reaction, I must say, was really good. I think most of it had to do with just them being a bit used to me collecting dolls, period. So the reborn was probably an easier transition for them, you know, knowing that it's just another doll. It's just a very lifelike doll. So I think they're pretty good with the reborn dolls, actually. My daughter did, well, you know, she did make a few remarks here and there, but I didn't pay her any attention, you know. But she did cuddle with the baby, and you know, did spend some time with the baby. You know, I guess she might have done that just to make me feel as if she was, you know, being a part of my hobby, you know what I mean. But in terms of my son just laughed at me, and that was it, you know. And I crack a joke with him because between you and I, Emma actually looks a lot like my son when he was 2 weeks old. If I can find the picture, I will insert it at the end of the video, or if I can edit it in between, I'll do that. But Emma really does remind me a bit of my son when he was 2 weeks old. So, and next is my little girl. She's 8 years old. Now my 8-year-old daughter loves the babies, I must say. The first day she met Emma, and I explained to her that it's a doll. She realized it's a doll, yes, but I had to explain to her how to care for it, you know, not to just yuck it up and be hard, and you know. So I had to explain to her that she has to be gentle with the baby, and when she lifts the baby and the baby head falls back, she has to support the baby head and support the baby limbs. So after I explained that to her, from that day on, she was very careful with the baby, and she handled the babies today as if they're real. Even with little Bryce, you know, sometimes she go and she get the bottle, you know, like if I do have, like, this is the fabric softener. Actually, I was too lazy to go ahead and mix the creamer, so I decided to use the fabric softener here. But she knows once it's in the box, it's fine. She just uses it, she feeds the baby, and then she puts it back. She's very good with the babies, I must say. I don't know where she lost the pacifier. It probably dropped somewhere, but wherever it is, it must be in this room because the baby's really doesn't leave the bedroom. And close relative, well, parents next. Now, I must say I was so surprised with my mother. I was surprised because when I first started collecting the dolls, my mother was the very one that was against it. She didn't see the sense in it. She felt that I was just wasting money. I could remember one evening, 10 o'clock at night, my mom called the house and she's like, "What are you doing? Why you keep buying these bunch of dolls, just wasting money?" And I was so ashamed because my husband was there. And even though he wasn't on the other end of the phone, he could have heard my response to her that gave him an idea that, hey, my mother is fussing me out about buying these dolls. And even though I stayed calm and tried to answer in a way that he doesn't pick up, you know, on the conversation, you know, so yeah, so I was really surprised when I took Emma to visit my family, and my mom actually fell head over heels in love with Emma. She was like, "This is a beautiful little girl. She looks so real," and she was just amazed. And I made Emma's bed in my mom's room, and my mom said, "Lay her right in my bed," and I was not allowed to move her. She spent the whole time I visit my family, she stayed with my mom in my mom's room. My mom just loved her. And when I was leaving, my mom said to me, "You taking her?" And I said, "Yes, mommy." So she was like, "No, leave her, leave her." So I said, "No, I can't leave her." You know, that just was so funny. Now, my husband, wow, you know, my husband really had a hard time. And I was surprised because my husband bought me tons of dolls. American Girl dolls, the My Twin dolls. I was so surprised when, in fact, I had showed my husband the listing of Emma on eBay. He knew the price of her. He had seen her. And he asked me, you know, what you intend to do with this doll. So I say, display her on the bed, like throw pillows, you know, just make the bed really pretty because, you know, it's a pretty baby. And so I would just display her on the bed. So my husband was fine with it. He said, okay. But when Emma came, that was a completely different story. You know, he just didn't understand why I needed to buy this lifelike doll that looked so much like a real baby. And so he told me he felt that it was very personal, that it was something that persons who doesn't have kids or cannot have kids, that, you know, the dolls are really created for them, that they could love the dolls as their own kids. And he told me that he think that maybe what I should do is just, you know, put the baby away. But I was like, no, I'm not going to put the baby away. I paid all that money and, you know. So he said, okay, well, don't put the baby in the bed and don't treat the baby as if it's a baby between you and I. And so I agreed. I respect where he was coming from. I agreed, and from that day I just kept all of my babies with my other dolls. So, you know, so as far as he's concerned, I'm treating the babies like my other dolls. So far so good. He's fine with it. I've not heard him complain or said anything else since, you know, and I try not to like do anything to irritate him in that area. But so far, I think he's okay as long as I continue the way I'm going, meaning that he doesn't see me making like the role play videos, and as long as I keep the babies with all the other dolls, I'm guessing that he will be quite fine. Now, question number 2: how many reborns do you currently have in your collection? And how many do you think will complete your collection? Well, currently I have two. I have Emma and Bryce, and I have a third on the way. And in terms of completing my collection, I think I will be fine with the 3 for a long time. But I'm guessing that I probably won't complete my collection until I probably collect 5. And I'm saying that because I would also like to add an African American boy and girl to my collection, but that won't be anytime soon. I can tell you that because the ones that I really like, I notice is very expensive. There's about 2 artists that I really like their babies. The skin tone is so realistic, and I just love their work. So, and it's pretty pricey, so I'm going to have to save and plan for those 2 babies. So I'm guessing it would probably take me a long time to save for those 2 babies. So I don't think I will probably add number 4 to my collection in maybe a year, really. But I'm thinking to complete my collection, I would say 5, no more than 6. Really, no more than 6. So number 3, when deciding to add another baby to your collection, do you look for diversity from what you already have? Skin tone, eye color, awake, sleep, smiling, hair color, or do you just buy who you fall in love with? I would say yes to all those questions. Yeah, I do. I like my collection to have variety. Yes. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to go with painted hair for Bryce. So, because Emma has rooted hair, Bryce has painted hair. And Emma has green eyes. I decided to go with brown eyes for Bryce. In terms of skin color, like I said, there's 2 artists. I really like their work, and I would like to add one of their babies to my collection later. And let me see, awake, yes. I have 2 awake babies now, and my 3rd baby will be a sleeping baby. Yeah, I do. I like my collection to be a little different. I don't want all to be the same. I would like my collection to be different, unique, you know. So my next baby will be a sleeping baby. I don't think I will do a smiling baby unless I really add a lot of babies to my collection, and I doubt that. Or do you just buy who you fall in love with? Now, I have done that. I bought Emma. I fell in love with Emma and I bought her. And keep in mind, she was the first baby that came to me. So, you know, I was fine with just buying her. Now, I am okay with just buying a baby that I fall in love with if the baby basically has what I'm looking for. Like, there was a baby I had seen on eBay. A beautiful little girl. She was dark skin, curly hair. She was beautiful. And if I had the money, I probably would have just bought her on the spot, because I knew I wanted to add a similar baby to my collection. And she was really very close to what I was looking for. Really, the only difference is she was awake and I was looking for sleep. So yeah. So yes to all those questions. So number 4, what would your reborn's name be if they were the opposite gender? Okay, the opposite gender. It's a little difficult for me to say what I'm talking and not dressing. It's difficult for me to say what Emma's name would be if she was a boy, because Emma, I don't know. Emma was named after my niece who had passed 4 years ago. Emma's name is Amberly Leah, and my niece that passed, her name was Aaliyah. So I really don't know what Emma's name would have been, because seeing that I really don't have a clue. But you know what? Amberly is actually my name. So therefore, maybe, just maybe, instead of Amberly, maybe she would have been Emilio. Maybe. So I would say Emilio. I don't have a clue about her middle name, because like I said, her middle name is named after my my niece. So far, honestly, Emilio, I would probably say would have been her name. But if that was her name, why didn't I name Bryce Emilio? Hey, I don't know. It's difficult to say. So in terms of Bryce, it took me a while to decide on a name for Bryce. I collect so many dolls, and I've given most of the cute names to all the other dolls. So I really was sort of stuck in terms of names. But Bryce's name is Bryce Christopher. And he got the name Christopher from my aunt that passed a few months ago. Her name was Christine, so I gave Bryce the name Christopher. So if he was a girl, I don't know if I would have given him the name Christine. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. But if he was a girl, I probably would have given him, in terms of his first name, something with Shay, because my daughter's name is mixed with Shay. So I probably would have given him something similar, because that's what I'm considering for baby number 3 actually. I'm actually thinking of Roche. I haven't decided for sure as yet. Roche, Cheyenne, I'm not sure as yet. So I think he would have had a name, you know, with Shay mixed in there somewhere. Okay, so question number 5, my last question. Do you prefer baldies, painted, combo, or rooted hair? Now I've seen a few baldies that is so cute, but my experience so far with Bryce having painted hair, even though I really do like his hair painted, and I'm glad that I did it, because it adds a bit unique, you know, it adds a little uniqueness to my collection, him being the only little one with painted hair, because I can tell you all my other babies most likely will be rooted hair. And that's because I enjoy combing and brushing the baby hair after they're all cleaned up. Like right now, Bryce is finished, he's all changed. All he needs right now is his pacifier. But actually I'm missing, you know, combing his hair. I feel like I should be combing or brushing. I guess that's why I keep touching his head, because I feel like I'm missing something. So actually I do prefer rooted hair. Yes. So that's my 5 questions, everyone. And let me just sweeten him up with just a little freshness here. Right, Bryce? Oh yes, he smells so good. Oh yes, Bryce, you smell so good. Hey, so tell everybody goodbye. So that's it, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.